The strangest version of being stuck isn't when you don't know what to do. It's when you know exactly what to do. You've done it 100 times, and somehow today you can't find the way in. The skill is still there. You know it is. But something between you and it feels thick, like trying to reach through glass. And the harder you push, the more you focus, the more you tell yourself to just get into it, the further away it gets. That's not a productivity problem. That's not a motivation problem. Most people never figure out what it actually is. And because they don't, they keep doing the one thing that makes it worse. Here's the counterintuitive truth. You cannot try your way into flow. The mechanism of trying is the exact thing that blocks it, which means every system, every hack, every optimize your environment and play binaural beats approach misses the point entirely. They're all forms of effort, and effort is the interference. What I'm going to walk you through today is a process for removing that interference, not adding to it. By the end of this, you'll have something you can actually use, not just something to think about. And it will make sense in a way that changes how you approach your best work from here on out. This is more common than most people admit. The people who seem to slip into flow effortlessly haven't figured out how to try harder. They've figured out how to stop. That's the thing worth learning. The first part of this process is understanding what's actually happening when flow is blocked, not in a theoretical way, in a way you can recognize in real time. When you sit down to work and feel that friction, what you're experiencing is what psychologists call evaluative self-monitoring. Your brain has split into two parts, the one doing the task and the one watching the one doing the task, judging it, commenting on it, measuring it against some standard in real time. That second layer, the observer, is the blocker, not your ability, not your environment, the watcher. And here's why this matters practically. You can't force that watcher to leave. Telling yourself to stop overthinking is just more thinking. The observer doesn't respond to commands, it responds to conditions. So the move isn't suppression. The move is something different, something older. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, effortless action, describes a state where you are fully engaged and yet not interfering with yourself. The doing happens without the commentary. Not because you've gone passive, but because you've stopped adding friction to something that already knows how to move. That's what flow actually is. It's not a peak state you have to climb to. It's what's already there when you stop arguing with it. If you're feeling that in your body as you hear this, that recognition of something you've been fighting, the 3-day reset I put together works directly with that. It's a free 3-day guided audio experience that meets your nervous system where it actually is. I'll leave it linked below. The first stage of the process is called releasing the grip. Most people prepare for important work by tightening. They review their goals, they remind themselves of what's at stake, they tell themselves this matters. All of that is grip. And grip creates the exact conditions for the observer to activate. What releasing the grip looks like in practice, before you begin, you deliberately lower the stakes in your own body, not in your mind, in your body. You take a minute, sometimes less, and you let the outcome actually not matter for 30 seconds. You don't convince yourself it doesn't matter. You just let your nervous system breathe as if it doesn't. This is brief. This isn't a meditation session. It's a reset. The goal is to go from braced to available. Physiologically, this matters because the observer, that evaluative layer, is activated by threat signals. When the stakes feel high, your nervous system reads the work as a threat and mobilizes accordingly. The monitoring increases, the grip tightens, and the natural intelligence that produces your best work goes quiet. Lowering the somatic alarm, even briefly, creates the opening. The second stage is what I'd call entering without agenda. Most people begin working by aiming at an outcome, which makes sense, but the outcome focus is what keeps activating that observer layer, because you can't aim at an outcome without also constantly measuring whether you're hitting it. Entering without agenda means you begin with process instead of product. Your first move is just contact with the material. If you're writing, you write a sentence, any sentence. If you're designing, you place something, anything. If you're practicing, you play a scale, you take a swing, you make a mark. The specific content doesn't matter at this stage. What matters is that you've crossed the threshold. without asking your work to immediately prove itself. Keith Jarrett understood this without perhaps naming it. In January of 1975, he arrived at the Cologne Opera House, exhausted, in physical pain, and handed an instrument that was barely playable, a preparation piano with sticking keys and a weak upper register. He nearly canceled. Instead, he began, not toward an imagined ideal performance, but into the instrument as it actually was. What followed became one of the best-selling solo piano recordings in history, the Cologne Concert. 60 minutes of improvisation that audiences still call transcendent. He didn't produce that by overcoming the conditions. He produced it by surrendering his agenda to the conditions. The work happened because he stopped arguing with what was and started moving with it. You don't need a concert hall or a broken piano to use the same principle. The next time you sit down to work and feel that locked out feeling, don't try to override it. Begin smaller than feels significant. Enter without expectation. Make contact with the work before you ask anything of yourself. The intelligence is still there. It just needs permission to move. The third stage is what the process actually rests on. It's the hardest to explain and the simplest to experience. It's called trusting the through line. Once you've released the grip and entered without agenda, there's a moment, sometimes subtle, where the work starts pulling you instead of you pushing it. A sentence wants to go somewhere. A problem starts to reveal its own shape. You stop being the person trying to generate the work and become the person through whom it moves. Most people miss this moment or override it. They're still in steering mode when the current has already arrived. Trusting the through line means you notice when that pull appears and you follow it instead of second guessing it. You let the next move come from the work rather than from your plan for the work. This doesn't mean you abandon craft or rigor. It means your craft is finally operating without interference. Your training, your skill, your accumulated knowledge, all of that is still there, functioning beneath the commentary. When the observer quiets, what remains is competence. Not effortlessness in the sense of not caring, effortlessness in the sense of not fighting. That's the paradox resolved. Flow isn't a state you enter. It's a state you uncover by removing the layer that was always obscuring it. What you have now isn't a technique for trying harder. It's a process for trying less. Specifically, release the grip first, lower the somatic alarm before you begin, and let the outcome matter less in your body for 30 seconds. Enter without agenda second. Make contact with the work before you ask it to prove anything. Trust the through line third. When the pull arrives, follow it instead of overriding it. Each of these builds on the last. You can't enter without agenda if you're still gripped. You can't trust the through line if you haven't entered yet. The sequence matters. You're not someone who can't access flow. You're someone who has been trying to add more effort to a problem that resolves through less. That's not a flaw. That's just what nobody told you to try instead. The 3-day reset is linked below if you want to feel this shift rather than just understand it. And the next one. If you've ever felt completely clear about what you needed to do and still found yourself unable to start, is right there.